You know those ideas that seem so simple at first, the ones you think, oh, this is going to be easy, but then somehow they spiral into absolute chaos? Yeah, this is one of those stories. This is the story of how I turned plain jute bags into portable paintings and created more problems for myself along the way than I would have imagined. And believe it or not, it all started with my dad and a simple idea. Hi, welcome to the video. So I had this idea when my dad bought a bunch of jute bags. He wanted to print one of my paintings onto them, but when I looked through my paintings, I couldn't find anything that felt good enough to print. Actually, this painting, which you might have seen in one of my YouTube shorts, was initially created for the jute bag project. But there was a catch. The bags had already text on them. If I printed my artwork on top of it, it would look terrible. So I thought, why not skip the printing and just paint directly onto the bags? And that's how the idea was born. You might be wondering, why would I need so many jute bags my father bought? Well, here's the reason. My uncle is celebrating his 70th birthday in mid-December, so it's a family reunion, and since my parents and I don't live close to them, we only get to see the side of the family once or twice a year. So I decided to create something meaningful for each family member. Personalized jute bag. So now that you know about my crazy idea, let's count how many bags I actually have to make. My parents and I don't get a bag because it would be too much work. So let's figure out how many jute bags I'll need to paint. At minimum, I need one for each pair and one for each cousin, which makes 6. But if I go all out and make one for every individual, we are looking at 11. Now, funny thing. While working on this project, my second cousin and his girlfriend broke up, but my first cousin started dating someone new. So it looks like we are sticking with the maximum number of 11 bags. With only 2 months left to complete this project, it's time to get creative. So let's dive into the ideas for the designs of each individual bag. Now that I had a plan in place, it was time to brainstorm ideas for each family member's jute bag. For my uncle, the one who is celebrating his 70th birthday, I thought about his love for philosophy and history as he was a judge. So I decided to paint the Michelangelo's famous David statue, paired with one of my favorite Latin quotes. Quod erat demonstrandum. For my aunt, his wife, who is a doctor and she shares my love for art, I wanted something elegant and thoughtful. I imagined a woman in a red Chinese-style dress sitting at a bar, lost in her thoughts, with supple accessories to complete the look. In the end, it was too detailed that I didn't draw them. For my other uncle, who adores his dog, the choice was easy. I painted his beloved dog on a bag and just took a cute picture as reference. For his wife, my second aunt, I thought of something playful and warm, just like her. I decided to paint a cat, playful and full of energy, with soft and cozy colors to match a cheerful personality. My first cousin loves the ocean and its animals, and he studies in this field as well. So I thought I could draw him 2 things he likes. Firstly, a glass, and secondly, a whale. For my second cousin, I was unsure what I could draw for him, but then I found a reference of something in modern luxury, so I in the end painted a car from a famous brand. For my second cousin's girlfriend, who I've never met, I honestly had no idea what to paint. After hours of searching on Pinterest for inspiration, I found a dreamy landscape scene with a pathway leading into a misty forest. I thought this looked cool, so I drew it. Finally, for my aunts, sons, and their respective others, I choose something more artistic. For my first step cousin, I painted this violinist. For my first step cousin's wife, I painted a bag with elegant flowers, as it is a soft and timeless design. For my second step cousin, I selected a design featuring a chess piece. Since I had never met him before, I thought this classic and versatile design would be a safe choice. For his partner, I decided on something equally thoughtful, a bag featuring a print of one of my original paintings. And this bag is actually the bag that made me do this whole thing. After finishing all the paintings, it was finally time to hand them over to my family. I had carefully planned out on who receive each bag, but let me tell you, the execution of the plan didn't go as smoothly as I had hoped. Even with careful planning, not everyone ended up receiving a bag. Some family members couldn't make it to the celebration, which meant a few bags didn't find intended recipients. But sometimes new opportunities can lead to surprises. These spare bags found their way to another hands, ultimately. Now let's dive into the part where the jute bags found their new homes. For that, we will take a look at some photos capturing the moments when I handed out the jute bags to my family. Our journey began at my first uncle's house, where we were warmly welcomed by him, my aunt, and two American guests staying with them. After a cozy dinner, it was time to reveal the jute bags. I carefully laid out all the bags I had painted, and everyone began deciding which one they liked most. To my surprise, my uncle and aunt didn't pick the originally planned for them. My uncle chose the chess piece, and my aunt fell in love with the flowers design. As for the American guests, the male guest instantly recognized the Roman statue as Michelangelo's David and chose it without hesitation. The female guest, his wife, selected the pathway scene, appreciating its serene atmosphere. Since my second step cousin and his partner couldn't attend, I was happy to let the American guests enjoy these bags instead. With the few bags now gifted, the next part of the plan awaited before my uncle's birthday party, the following day. The day of my uncle's birthday started with a warm visit from my step cousin and his wife. They came to pick us up and drive us to the restaurant where we would celebrate. Before heading out, we sat together at the table, enjoying tea and a quiet moment. It was then that I brought out the jute bags I had made. They carefully examined the designs before making their choices. My step cousin's wife picked the lonely lady, while he chose the violinist. Later that evening, as the birthday celebration at the restaurant would down, I found myself sitting with my cousins, talking and laughing about everything and nothing. It felt like the perfect time to share my gifts with them. I handed the whale in a glass to the first cousin, whose reaction was a mix of surprise and joy. The other cousin received the elegant car bag, and his excitement was contagious. Seeing their smiles reminded me why I had put so much effort into this project. A few days after the birthday party, it was finally time to visit my second uncle and his wife at their home. Of course, I had already seen them during the party, but spending time with them in their own space was something I was really looking forward to. When we arrived, my aunt surprised me with a delicious cake topped with my favorite fruit. It was such a thoughtful gesture, and after we finished eating and chatting, it was time to give them their jute bags. I handed my uncle his bag first. The design, featuring his beloved dog, immediately brought a smile on his face. He seemed genuinely touched to see his furry companion immortalized in art. My aunt's reaction was just as heartwarming. Her bag with a playful cat reminded her of a perished pet she had loved deeply. And so the story of the jute bags comes to an end. From the first brushstroke to the final unveiling, this project was truly a journey, one that happened over 3 months of painting, designing, and creating something personal for each family member. Looking back, this project wasn't just about making gifts, it was about celebrating connections, memories, and the joy of giving something handmade. Every bag has its own story, its own thought behind it, and seeing the reactions of my family member made every afternoon painting session worth it. It's funny to think how this all started with my dad getting a few jute bags and an idea that felt impossible at first. But sometimes it's these impossible ideas that bring the most rewarding results. Thank you for following along on this creative adventure. I hope it inspired you to try something new, take on a project that scares you, or simply create something special for someone you love. Until next time. Thank you for watching.